G'day, my name is Brian from BsianTech. Today we're going to look into this ASUS ExpertBook B6 Flip. It's our 16-inch mobile workstation and it is a 2-in-1. So at the moment it is in presentation mode. You also can do it into your tent mode here for a lot of nice presentations. And of course you got your good old clamshell mode, which you're gonna, as you can see, you got that 360 hinge. You can actually flip into tablet mode if you really want to use this. Being a mobile workstation, it does have production class graphics, which is the NVIDIA RTX A2000. Now, also along with that, it also has support of up to 128 gigs of ECC memory. Now that's over 4 DIMM slots. Now we are going to look at the internals. You will see in the internals only 2 DIMM slots. That's on the one facing side for easy upgrades. The other 2 DIMM slots are on the other side of the system board, just to let you know. Now we're going to also look at the temperatures and fan noise, and we'll look at some of the features of this ExpertBook B6. And as always, I will be putting timestamps on this video so you can skip to different sections. They may be interested to save you time. As for the temperatures and fan noise, when I took my measurement, the ambient temperature in the room was 22 degrees Celsius and the ambient room noise measured in at 35 decibels. So just before I get started, as always, just to give you an idea of how hot or how cool this laptop could be, my average hand is anywhere between 33 to 35 degrees Celsius. So I took my base measurement when the computer was idle, and the hottest area around the keyboard measured a maximum of 32 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it stayed at 35 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 33 degrees Celsius. Then I put 20% load on the computer. That's pretty much average use. So that's tasks like office productivity work, surfing the web, streaming video, and the hottest area around the keyboard measured a maximum of 35 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, spun all the way up to 36 decibels. So still very quiet and barely audible. And the average internal core temperature was 37 degrees Celsius. Then I put 50% load on the computer, and the hottest area around the keyboard measured a maximum of 38 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, hit a maximum of 37 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 44 degrees Celsius. Then I put 100% load on the computer on best performance with the fan mode at its maximum, and the hottest area around the keyboard measured a maximum of 46 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, hit a maximum of 46 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 76 degrees Celsius. I also measured the bottom back cover while it's at 100% load, and the hottest area on the surface was 41 degrees Celsius. Although you do see higher temperature, but that's really shooting right in between the grooves, and that's hitting the actual heat pipe directly. I also put the computer in tablet mode and putting 20% load on the computer for average use, and the display side measure in a maximum of 33 degrees Celsius. And as for the fan noise, it was pretty much dead quiet at 35 decibels, and the average internal core temperature was 43 degrees Celsius. And as for the keyboard side, you're looking at a maximum of 36 degrees Celsius. And of course, it has the same fan noise at 35 decibels. Measuring the color gamut coverage of the 16-inch wide quad extended graphics array, which has a rating of the maximum brightness or luminance of 500 nits, it resulted with 100% sRGB coverage, 85.8% Adobe RGB coverage, and 98.5% DCI-P3 coverage. Those who probably noticed with the display, it does have quite a bit of bezel. Now this is something I kind of expect for a 2-in-1. It's not unusual for a 2-in-1 to have quite a lot of bezel in the sides. Now that is because when this goes into the tablet mode, it's just to help out with the finger rejections, and you will probably over grab this, and that's the reason for that, especially when you just to give you that a bit of release pressure hold. So it is for all edges there, in case you want to do what I'm doing. So I'm actually touching the screen while you actually try and hold it. Now you're going to have to hold this quite a bit along the edges, as there's a little bit of weight to it than a normal tablet would, but it's got the functionality to do that. This is a recording from the 1080p webcam from the ExpertBook B6 Flip. This is the video and audio unedited. You can hear and see what the quality webcam is like. And as always for this test, I've got 2 tops that's currently turned on. Got my one strip light turned on, and also the downlights is room turn on for ambience. I'm going to turn off my one strip light off. You see this adjust. I think it's adjusted absolutely very quick there. Now the two downlights in front of me is a bit far away, so there's not much light hitting on my face. This is what I consider a dark environment. If you're in an office environment or outdoors, you have much more light than what I'm currently at. Now I'm going to turn on my one strip light back on to see this adjust. Now I actually find the adjustment very quick. Now as for the colors, on the tinge side, but it's not bad at all. Now I find it's actually quite sharp. Now there is also a privacy shutter on the actual webcam. It's just a little flick of the switch. You actually see a physical shutter goes over it, and you actually see it actually indicate red, that physical shutter, just to let you know there's something covering the lens. So you don't need to have that blue tack or electrical tape to cover over the lens for privacy. Now definitely love to hear what your thoughts of this webcam. Shoot a comment below. The ExpertBook B6 Flip is a mobile workstation which is very business orientated. There is a video conferencing LED indicator on the back end of the cover where the logo is, and if you're in a video conference or video call like a Zoom or Teams meeting, it will activate this LED light to light up just to notify others that you are in a meeting, to hopefully not disturb you while you're in the call. There are 4 speakers in the ExpertBook B6 Flip. There are 2 located above the keyboard, and the other 2 are located on the bottom front on either side of the laptop. When I tested out the maximum volume of the speakers, it managed to measure at a peak of 85.9 decibels. Now consider this in the medium range, so you should have no problems doing a video conference or also doing a presentation in a cafe or outdoors. As for the sound quality of the speakers, we do have some bass. Now this is not that really punchy low end bass, but it is still nice to see some bass which actually backs up the mids. It has very strong highs and is balanced more towards the highs, which I guess is really good for speech and voice applications and tasks like video conferencing. And we have still, I think the mids could be stronger. That would be a nice improvement if the mids could get a little bit stronger. Now there's not much reverb, but as for the acoustics, it's actually alright, and you can actually hear the actual sound of the speakers. Any sort of form this is in, presentation mode or temp mode or even clamshell or even tablet mode. So that's a good thing there. The ExpertBook B6 Flip comes with a 90 watt-hour battery, and I managed to get 5 hours and 43 minutes for the modern office battery life test in PC Mark 10, 1 hour for gaming, and 5 hours and 17 minutes for video playback in the Procom battery life test. There is a full-size keyboard with the number pad on the right. It's great to see ASUS have actually included a number pad on this 16-inch laptop, as a lot of professional work still has a lot of data and number entry. Now, as for the keys, we have medium-sized keys with a nice sort of soft touch to it. We have quite a lot of key travel, and they're relatively quiet with a very smooth texture finish to each individual key. We've got nice spacing in between. Now we also have interesting highlighted numbers on the 1, 2, 3, and 4 key, as that is a little bit special. I'm just still wondering what that would be useful. I'd definitely love to hear what your thoughts of that. Definitely put a comment below for what do you think those 4 keys might be very useful for and why ASUS have actually highlighted it. Now, as for the backlight, there are actually 2 settings, off and on, and that's about it. Now, as for the trackpad, we've got a glass, silky smooth texture to the trackpad. It registers all my touches very fine, and it is mechanical, so it's a hinge at the top, and you can actually slowly depress it as you move down. Now, it is multi-gesture as well, and I didn't have any issues pressing on it, and I found it also pretty decent quality, and I don't see it having issues on later on after many use. Now for one of my favorite sections, how's the build construction? Now this is pretty much what made of what I would say plastic all around, and the top, the bottom, and also, but we've got a lot because of just the pure size of this, and structurally it is strong. Just bending it, twisting it, there is no give for that at all. Now before I get inside it, I might as well do the hinge test for you guys to have a look at, and that is very smooth all the way through. Now it does get to it and starts to get a little bit of just a little bit of friction there, but it'll get it through. And of course, being a tool, it goes bolts all the way to the back. Now just having a look at the actual hinge itself. This is not wobbling. It shouldn't be wobbling all the way through, as there's quite a bit of thickness to here on the actual display, so it does give it quite a lot of structure there. Now as for the hinge, when I actually just hold this up, does it release the gap here? Now that's clamping pretty good here on this side and on that side here as well. Now you wouldn't be doing this. Is actually something that I know just some people just want to know how the hinges is clamping very well. Now I'm gonna say it does clamp very well. Now the hinge itself is made of metal there, and it does have a very nice sort of actuations along here, as most tool ones do, and I think I can pretty much see this used quite a lot. Now this is going to be very durable. Mobile workstations are usually very durable because you can pretty much treat it like a rental car. These are really pass along things, and these will take a lot of beating drought. I don't think this is any different at all. Even if we just do the keyboard flex, there's not that much keyboard flex. There's actually a lot of rigidity on the actual structure of this mobile workstation. I think the ExpertBook B6 is absolutely Flip is actually fantastic in the durability and also just structurally well built. Here's the results of the benchmarks performed on the ExpertBook B6 Flip. This one's configured with an i7-12850HX processor with 32 gigs RAM, 512 gig SSD, and also NVIDIA RTX A2000. Here's the result for Pass Mark, Citybench R23, PC Mark, 3D Mark, Geekbench, Crystal Disk Mark, Procon Office, Procon Photo Edit, Procon Video Edit, Procon AI Machine Learning, Fusion Photoshop, Fusion Lightroom, Fusion Premiere Pro, Fusion After Effects, Fusion DaVinci Resolve, Blender, Furmark, Luxmark, Octane Bench, Eugene Engine, and SpecView Pref. And some gaming benchmarks like Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Far Cry 6, Cyberpunk 2077, and F1 2022. Let's have a look at the internals. First off, we've got the 90 watt hour battery at the bottom here, and the battery connector is right here. So you need to disconnect the battery if you're working on the laptop, or if you need to diagnose some power issues. This is the battery connector here. Now, just to take note, there is some nice cushioning along the battery. It's probably to help prevent some nasty falls, and it's again on the same on the back cover here. We've got some cushioning. It's really nice to see ASUS actually put some cushioning along the battery. Now, above the battery, we've actually got a heat shield here. Now, I pre-undid this to speed up time, and we'll see the two memory. So that's the two SODIMM slot for the RAM or memory. And then on the left-hand side here, we've got our first slot of M.2 NVMe, and then below there is the second slot for the SSD. So, and they both can take on the 2280 format. Now on the right hand side of the battery is the Wi-Fi Bluetooth module right here. And of course you can see the triple heat pipe, and you've got twin fan. Now how the airflow goes is the airflow comes in from the bottom and then it shoots out to the rear. Now the one on the left will shoot out to the rear and also on the side. And I think it's actually doing pretty nice sort of design here. In recent years, ASUS have really produced a lot of laptops for the working professionals, especially for the creators and the creative industries. And it's good to see they have not forgotten about the mobile workstation class. And I think this ExpertBook B6 Flip, after having a good test of it, I think it is absolutely great addition to the mobile workstation class, competing against other manufacturers. I think this is actually a really good one. And also the fact that it is a flip or two-in-one, it is very unique in that sort of sense, as there's not many mobile workstations that actually are two-in-one. It just allows you to have the temp mode, presentation mode, and also have a tablet. Now, being a 16-inch, it's got a bit of weight to it. Tablet modes, it's a bit of a interesting to see who would actually use it. If you do, I definitely love to hear your thoughts on the tablet mode there. But it is nice that it's there, and it does have very good performance and also the support for stability with the ECC memory and also the production graphics as well. Now, I hope you find this video informative or enjoyed it. If you did, even support my channel, smash that like button for me. Share this video, it does help me out. And as always, imperfections in life makes it beautiful and interesting. And I will see you next video.